Member for Reid.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Treasurer. Will the Treasurer update the House on the Morrison government's plans to ensure the imbalance in bargaining power between digital platforms and news media organisations is appropriately addressed to ensure public interest journalism remains strong in Australia?
The Treasurer has the call.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker. I thank the member for Reid for a question, acknowledge her experience as a psychologist in small business and a strong advocate for the people of Reid, who I had the great pleasure to join with her recently, Papa's Patisserie and 5 Doc, Mr Speaker, among other businesses that we visited, as well as Headspace. Now, Mr Speaker, the member for Reid understands that there is a revolution occurring when it comes to the digital economy, a revolution. It's changing the way we work, it's changing the way we shop, and it's changing the way we communicate, Mr Speaker. Now, conscious of that change, back in 2017, the then Treasurer, now Prime Minister, commissioned the ACCC to undertake a comprehensive review. Now, what the ACCC found in this expanding online advertising market is that it's extremely concentrated and there's an unequal bargaining position between the main players. Now, it's around $9 billion a year in terms of online advertising. It may surprise members to know that of every $100 spent in online advertising, $81 goes to Google and Facebook. $81, $53 to Google and $28 to Facebook. So in light of these dynamics in this sector, the ACCC recommended to the government that we put in place initially a voluntary code. And then when it became clear that we weren't getting the cooperation that was needed, we moved to a mandatory code. And that mandatory code has a number of clear features. It's based on two-way value exchange, two-way value to both parties involved in the negotiations and under the code, as well as a final offer arbitration mechanism, Mr Speaker. They're the features of the code, and it's really pleasing that this code being worked on has helped brought the parties to the table, so much so that we've seen some positive announcements, including this morning between News Limited and Google, and positive announcements on Monday between Channel 7 and Google, Mr Speaker, and also reports of real progress in negotiations between Nine Entertainment and Google. Now, this is really positive, and we thank Google and we thank the stakeholders for the good faith in which they've negotiated. But what we saw today from Facebook's actions today were unnecessary. They were heavy-handed. They were wrong, Mr Speaker. There was provocative and there was overreach, Mr Speaker, and it will damage Facebook's reputation here in Australia. There was no reason to block access to government sites providing credible information about the pandemic, about emergency services, about mental health. It was unnecessary to do that. So, Mr Speaker, we say to Facebook that we will continue to work with them, hopefully to find a pathway forward. But what their actions today has done is remind Australians about the importance of this code, and it's reaffirmed and strengthened the government's resolve to implement it.